Welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, a weekly show helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. Today, episode 314, Inspired Living. And now, Experience of the Soul.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Experience of the Soul podcast. I have to say, friends, I am full of so much joy today. So happy to have you along the journey with us. My name is Cynthia Alice Anderson. I am the host. I'm here today with my producer.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome. My name is Sean Kilgore, and I am super happy to be here with you. Also, it is a great day. Today is Monday, June 24th. Can you believe that? June? I mean, yeah, we're almost to July.
I can't believe how many shows we've done together, Sean. This is show number 14.
Well, show 14. Yep. I can't believe it. I just keep racking up the shows.
Just keep showing up. Yeah. And I just keep paying you. So that works out.
Yeah, it's a good plan. I like it. Today we are talking about inspired living, which of course, we all do because of each other. We all inspire each other. I take great inspiration from you, of course, and from just all, everybody in my life. But before we get to those things, of course, we want to do our regular shout outs. Today, we would like to just welcome, we've gone up in YouTube subscribers here lately. So we just want to say a quick welcome to everyone who's joining us there on YouTube. If you are a regular listener and you've not joined us over on YouTube yet to check out the video version of the podcast, please do so. Just click that subscribe button. You'll be notified every time we post a YouTube short or another episode of the podcast. But welcome to all of our new subscribers over there. Thank you for joining us. Please comment on the episodes that you're watching. Let us know how you're doing with the ideas and the things that we're talking about, and we'll maybe give you a personal direct shout out as well.
Yes, we love to do those shout outs, and I love it. It helps me feel connected because when you start reaching thousands of people, I mean, it's the fact that we're over 300,000 downloads, my mind, I don't think can even hardly take that in. I've had a goal of 1 million listeners for a really long time. And of course, some people are more than one of those downloads, right? Because we have regular listeners. But that said, it helps me feel connected. Part of why I think my ministry has been successful is my connection with so many people around the country. And I love to hear from you. I love to talk to you. I love to hear what's going on in your life. I also love to know, how can I support you better? Like literally, it inspires me to hear what's going on because I've had so many years of working with people. And I've been supported by such masters, frankly. I have had amazing supporters myself. So I'm happy to pass along what I've learned to you. So any little comment or any little way that we can support you better, please let us know because it will help guide what we're doing. Most definitely. I mean, we really listen to feedback.
Absolutely. And don't forget, no matter where you're listening to us from, if you just look down in those show notes, you can send us a text message directly from your mobile device. And make sure if you do that, make sure you just tell us your name, where you're listening from, and how we can get back in contact with you if you'd like to get a response back from us.
Well, it is funny, Sean. You told me about that. We could do that. And a few shows ago, I think I told everybody I did this. So I was like, I'm going to try it. Like, I'm going to try this. So I sent a text, and then I put, I love the show. And then I got it. And I was so surprised. I was like, somebody loved the show. And I was like, oh, that was me.
Like, oh, wait.
I wasn't sure if it was going to come like direct to my email. And it did. You told me it would, like, but I just hadn't gotten one yet.
Yeah.
But it was like right after I sent it, I got home and I was like, oh, somebody loved the show. Oh, it was me. Yeah. But I did love the show that day. I have to admit.
Yeah, you count. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. But anyway, friends, thank you. We're also doing a shout out to Tempe, Arizona today, right? Yes. So Tempe, our dear friends in Tempe, Arizona. I love Tempe, by the way. I think it's a cool town, and Arizona, I still dearly, dearly miss. Happy to come in and speak. Just, give me the word. It's a lot of fun.
Too.
Yeah. Just not
I've
June,
never been
July,
to
or
Arizona.
August. Well, don't go in the summer, but you'll love it.
That's what everyone says about Florida too. But we said, I think last week we talked about how much we love Florida, even in the summertime.
Well, I do.
The mornings are gorgeous.
Mornings are gorgeous. Yeah. Today, when I went to the gym, I'd gotten up at 5 and we were going in at, it was before 6:30. Our class starts at 6:30. It's an advanced jiu-jitsu class. And, it's me and a couple guys walking in. He goes, "Hey, cool morning." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "Like gorgeous." I go, "Yeah." And it was just great. It was like a little shared moment we had there in the parking lot of the gym. And he was like, "Yeah, I went by the lake and it was so pretty." So yeah, if you've never been to Florida, the gorgeous water, the sun. I even love the rain here. Like when in the summer, it rains almost every day. Well, a lot of times, and this just happened to me the other day, it started to rain. I had all this stuff to do and I was like, you know what? I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to close my eyes, I lie down. And I just had a whole little spiritual process with that rain. And it wasn't even 15 minutes, I don't think. Rain was over, and I got up feeling so refreshed. It was
cleansing. It's a cleansing.
Yes, that was exactly my prayer. I said, "God, if there's anything in the way, I have so much to do today. Just let me have this rain, move out anything, cleanse my mind, cleanse my body, cleanse my soul. Like let me not be wrapped around the axle on this. I'm so excitable." that I have to watch it, that I don't have excitement go into stress when there's a lot to do. So that kind of gets us ready for today's show. I didn't even realize that was not, I don't ever plan that. But Sean, give us today's title again, if you will. You may have said it already, but.
Absolutely. Yeah. Today is Monday, June 24th, of course. It is episode 314 of Experience of the Soul, wow. Inspired Living.
Yeah. Well, I love this topic, as I love all the topics. I'm the one that makes them up. And
I hope so.
Well, Spirit gives them to me. Honestly, I go into prayer and just ask what am I to talk about. And it's interesting as we move forward on the show, and Sean, as our work and connection develops, I've gotten wonderful feedback, about our connection on the show, and it's real. And I think you said it earlier. We inspire each other. I've known you for a long time now, and, our relationship definitely has deepened over the years. And, when you sing, I'm inspired. The way you walk through the world, I'm inspired. And it's what brings me back, to this point that we have said that all the people in our life have the potential to be inspiring for us. And these are the people we want to be around.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
If we all would just think that way. What do I have the potential? What is my potential impact as I walk through the world?
Well, I had a dear friend say to me years ago, Jill, her name was Reverend Jill Friedel. Now she's Jill Rogers. But she said to me one day, well, the truth is we're all leaders. And what if we knew we were all leaders? Would we be happy with where we were leading people? And I was like,
that's good. Yeah.
I was like, dang. That got me. But it inspired me though, because I was dealing with, I was in ministerial school at the time she said that to me. And it was really interesting because, I was dealing with a few things on campus and a teacher that was kind of driving me crazy. And it was like, well, you know what? I'm really carrying anger around on this, and I don't want to unduly influence other people, with my anger. I had to really work it. So yes, we all have the potential to inspire. You said it, Sean. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, and of course, how we're relating this back is we're always relating, first of all, the spiritual teaching to our own journey. We're always relating it now to our online ministry that we're so happy to be a part of, the Soulworks. And it is, another outreach of my online ministry. I mean, it's how the reason I have an online ministry is to enable people when they donate to get, a tax deduction. I became an online ministry simply so I could support people on their journey, and that I could support you no matter where you are, whether you're local in Florida, whether you're from my home state, Georgia, or you're around the world. But my ultimate goal is to inspire people to live a better life. the tagline of literally everything I do is to help people grow, prosper, and evolve. And that, in a nutshell, is inspired living. It's inspired living. And I was talking to someone the other day, a family member who has obviously been deeply impacted. And he said to me, "Oh, my number one thing is growth." And I was so inspired by someone so young telling me that. And so inspired living is full of energy. It's full of passion for life itself. It's about growth on virtually every level. And if you haven't heard the last show, I want to encourage you to, we were talking about personal transformation as a result of, a dedicated spiritual process, really committing yourself to a day by day, moment by moment process. And so, when we transform, well, we're inspired. We're inspired by ourselves. We're inspired by others. And Sean said something I think important and that I reiterated, which is, everybody has the potential to inspire us. And if we're surrounding ourselves with people that are bringing us down rather than inspire us, we might want to seek to build a community elsewhere. Now, I'm not saying you throw away relationships necessarily, but what I'm saying is you honor your need for inspiration. And this is one of the many things our online ministry is offering, and the podcast as well, is a spiritual community that enables you to feel uplifted, supported, and inspired. And in a world that tries to constantly tear you down, sell you things you don't need, tell you what's wrong with you, and at the same time try to get you to buy their product, we are seeking to do the opposite. That we want you to feel uplifted. We want you to feel supported and inspired. And again, I think spiritual community is the best place to do this. That said, I know many of us have had tough experiences in spiritual community, and that's because, well, frankly, there are people there. Yeah. So we want to remember, though, that if we're living an authentic life, if we're in an authentic spiritual community where people tell the truth, where there's accountability, those issues can be worked through. So I hope you will try and to be a part of this online spiritual community, the Soulworks, so that you can really experience what a healthy, guided, spiritual community can be. And especially one that's grounded in spiritual truth. This is not grounded in personality. We're not trying to become millionaires. Simply, we are creating a place for all of us to connect. And in this case today, I'm thinking truly about inspired living. Inspired living. So as we were talking, I first said, number one, for the personal. We want to personally be inspired. And then I would say, number two, we want to have ourselves in places where not only are we inspiring, but we get inspired. And, as somebody who gives a lot to a lot of people, this has been a really important aspect of my journey. And I am still learning to make sure I get enough inspiration. And so even though I have incredible friends that always inspire me. All of the people in my life, I can honestly say, inspire me. My son inspires me nearly every day. I mean, he is such an example of a soul that is on purpose. He's 17 years old. And I remember somebody telling me, "Oh, wait till he's a teenager." I said, "Oh, I can't wait till he's a teenager." And oh my goodness, he's just gotten to be more incredible. So, I get inspired every day.
That's a testament to you and the choices that you made, while as he was growing. I mean,
yes. Well, he had his needs met, and it was interesting. I don't know if you saw this, Sean. I can't remember if it was on social media. My dear friend Michelle commented. I think we were talking about when I had talked about that, I limited the images through television, and she commented, and he got his needs met. Well, that's true. That's true. I wasn't perfect. I've gone through a breakup, and things like that. I've had life challenges. We've had losses, but I tell you, number one, did my son know he was loved? Absolutely. Constantly surrounded with love, with support for his dreams, goals, and desires. Every night, going to bed, he heard, honey, you can do anything. You can be anything. Just all is going to be well. So, can you imagine hearing that every single night of your life?
Yeah. It makes a difference. I love how, didn't you used to say, or do you always say too, that he grew up in a women's retreat?
Yeah, poor kid grew up in a women's retreat. Yeah, spiritual music and sage, and it's been really interesting too to watch his spiritual process, because he had a big test. This is a few weeks ago. He had a big test, because now we're in summer, and he goes, well, I'm gonna get ready for the test. And he did what I would do. He took like an Epsom salt bath. He listened to a meditation, to go to sleep. He burned sage. Then he did a meditation to go to sleep. And the meditation, interestingly for me, the meditation he did was one I used to do with him as a baby when he was on my stomach. Uh-huh. And since then, it was a Kenny Werner meditation. And since then, he has met Kenny Werner. He's had a lesson. Kenny Werner is a world famous jazz musician. He's had a lesson. And every now and then I'll reach out to Kenny and he'll say, how was Josh?
That's awesome.
It's amazing. And so he's doing his own work, and now he's leading other teens in meditation. He helps his friends in need. So yeah, he's an amazing kiddo. Yes,
it's been incredible to just be around, as he was growing. Because when we met, he was maybe 5.
About 5 or 6. Yeah. So no, you're right. I appreciate you saying that.
Good job.
Well, like I say, he inspires me too.
Yeah,
with his choices,
because he is making choices now. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I told him when he turned 16, I said, okay, buddy, you're 16 now. So there's a few more responsibilities you're going to have. And he said, oh yeah. And he goes, I do. And I said, oh yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I said, and number one is your spiritual. And he said, oh. And I said, well, at 16, you become, in the spirit world, you're responsible for your own journey. So going forward, I've guided you in every way I know how, but next steps are up to you. He's taking them.
Yeah. And look at the choices he's making. That's incredible.
But look at all the kids out there. Their parents don't even pray. Their parents don't even at night help them. They don't help them with, the challenges at school. So yeah, for me, this is inspiring to be able to do that my life choices have enabled me to take the time, because I had to choose that. I could have been on the road speaking. I could have made a lot of different choices. I've turned down in the last 2 years, I've turned down 2 job offers that would have me move away from Florida. And there's no way I'm not going to be with my son. There's no way. Yeah. No way.
Yeah, we grew up, there was a prayer before every meal. There was a bedtime prayer, which when I was real little, I couldn't get through the prayer without crying. I would just start crying because we would say, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep if I should die. And as soon as I said that, I'd be like, no. I could never get through it.
The new generation now would never have us say that prayer.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. So what'd you start to say your mom would say?
Oh, she would. She'll love hearing that. Like when she listens to this episode.
I know. Well, I don't usually talk about my son too much. I don't, I like for him to have his process be private, but every now and then he's just doing so well and he's such a leader in whatever he does that it's good to talk about so people know, he's my greatest proof of these teachings.
Amen.
What your life can be like when you grow up knowing you're loved, when you grow up knowing you're not evil and sinful, you're good and holy. You know, when you grow up knowing you can do anything you decide to do, when you grow up knowing the universe is working on your behalf, my gosh, how could you not move forward and be a leader and move forward? And, you know, everybody wants to talk to him. Everybody wants his help and support that are friends, you know?
And when you grow up with limited exposure to the media and what, you know, the images and the, you know, everything we talked about in recent episodes about,
the
images that we're inundated with.
Oh, exactly. Plus, at a very young age, he learned not only about prayer and meditation, but about sacred ceremony around the fire. He's been taught native ways to respect the earth, to, you know, all of those things. They're just in him now. And when you learn them at a young age, it's like they never leave you, you know? So
maybe that's your next book. Maybe you should write a book on
parenting
raising a child. On parenting.
Well, I already have the title. It's called Parenting the Soul.
That's perfect.
Yeah. Well, you know, so many of the parenting books, I was one of those parents that even though I had always been around kids, I had, you know, there were so many of us and my siblings were having kids when I was little. And, you know, I had a nephew 5 years younger, a nephew 10 years younger. So I was always kind of in a parenting role. I still read parenting books and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, they're so formulaic. What they don't do is consider that each soul that's born is, you know, does carry with it its own DNA. And even though you know, even though everything we're saying about my son's environment is true, he also came in with a certain soul path and journey. And so rather than me trying to shove in information and make him be a 1, 2, 3 that was listed in some book, it was really about listening to what his soul needed at different times. You know, so I would, as he's older, probably what I ought to do is wait till he's out of college and us write it together, because he could then write from the kid perspective, you know, some of the challenges he got through, and maybe even some of the challenges of me as his mom. It'd probably be good and healing for him. It's hard to have a minister mom sometimes. So he's never, I'm sure he's never said that, but I'm just saying, you know, everybody always wants my attention. And when he was little, he just had to deal with that, you know?
Yeah.
So, but he got my attention, you know, 90% of the other time. So it worked out. But it's interesting. We're talking about this because what we're talking about is a sense of self-worth today, a sense of being, you know, living an inspired life. And in truth, you know, all these things we were saying about my son and the way I parented is the home I grew up in. My mom was really a beautiful soul in so many ways. My dad too. They made a lot of mistakes, but they parented me better, most definitely, than they had been parented. And so I think it's normal to grow and develop and seek to live a better life. And there were patterns I saw in my family that I did not want to repeat. And I have not repeated a lot of those patterns, and some I have, you know. But what inspires me is living a soul-centered life. For me, that is inspired living. My life is not based on what other people think. My life is not based on making a gazillion dollars. But for me, living a soul-centered life is truly inspired living, right? I'm asking my soul, what is mine to do? Where am I to go? Where am I to be? And it's exciting. It's exciting. It's exciting to me to parent a child who's no longer a child. He's a man now, and watch him live from his soul. Watch him make choices that are based on his divine guidance. So I want you to think about, friends, to ask yourself, am I truly living an inspired life? Am I living an inspired life? So I've mentioned in the last few shows some of the things I do, but I want to be real clear about it. Part of the thing that inspires me, yes, are my friends. Yes, even some family members. Even the spiritual communities I serve, they also inspire me because of the way they heal. And my clients, as I mentioned, when I see people awaken, I mean, the growth I've seen in a few of my clients over the last couple of years, I could just tear up just thinking about their tremendous growth. has just been miraculous. But my inspiration comes largely from my connection with nature and the work I do on my own with no one else there. It's when I'm doing my journaling. It's when I am, every day. Oh, I don't have my intention journal right here, but every day I'm setting my intention. Every day I am connecting with God. This is where my inspiration comes from. And if I get a little tired, if I need inspiration, I usually turn to music. I will play music. I will listen to music. As a matter of fact, I'll put one of my favorite playlists I listen to every week. I do a lot of driving right now in my work, and one of the playlists I listen to every week is my gospel playlist. I think I named it Gospel Tuesday because so often the big drives are on Tuesdays and Sundays. But on one Tuesday, I was feeling kind of down, and I thought, I've got a big drive. I don't want to be on a bunch of work calls. How could I just get inspired for this drive? And I created this playlist, and I've added to it. A few of my friends or clients have sent me songs, and I added their songs to it. And the other day, one of my clients who had sent me a song said, "Hey, how did my song get on your playlist?" I said, "Well, you told me about it, and I added it to the playlist." And when I add to it, if I've already sent it to you, it will add because we're both listening, from Spotify. So I want you to think about what are the things. What were you going to say, Sean?
I was just going to say to our listeners who, if you're listening to the podcast on Spotify, you could probably find Cynthia Alice Anderson on Spotify and follow, and then
you follow me.
You've curated some great playlists. The Intentions playlist. I'm loving those. I've been listening to those on my walks, and I'm looking forward to listening.
Did you do the Happy Intentions?
The Happy Intentions is great.
Because one of my Intentions playlists was so deep. I was like, man, this is like.
I love those too, though. I mean,
those some of the ones that are like so etheric.
Yes,
they're just.
I love that stuff, though. I mean, that's especially on a like a nature walk is like.
Yes. Yes, those are really nice. And the one now has a lot of symphonic music. It was my son who brought me the newly orchestrated Four Seasons. Max Richter reorchestrated some of the Four Seasons by Vivaldi, which is a favorite piece of mine. I can't tell you how it just like woke me up again to classical music in a different way. Even though I grew up in classical music, I'm classically trained and all that as a musician.
It's beautiful. So there's cinematic stuff in there too, right? The like the Braveheart stuff and this beautiful stuff that I've been listening to forever too. Like it's crazy.
Right. I'm glad
but you mentioned that. We'll be putting a link in the show notes for this episode to this particular playlist that you've been listening to this week, right?
Right. And yes, the one I put in was the Gospel Tuesday. But what I want to make sure and say though is, for us to really ask the question, when was the last time I was truly inspired? And it's a real important question to ask. And before we end the show, I can't believe the show's almost over. I've really talked a lot today about a lot of things, but it seems like I just got started. To really be inspired, you have to have a little bit of an open heart. If you think you know everything, if you think everything's silly, if you're better than everybody, you're not going to be inspired. And I love to be inspired. To be inspired for me ultimately means I'm reminded of the truth. I am lifted up and reminded of who I really am, that I am God's, that I am good, that I'm holy, and that inspiration feels like a lift in my energy, and it makes me want to do good and right and spiritual and holy in the world. And my friends of you who are listening, you know who you are. You know you're an important part of my inspiration. My clients, my work, you all are an important part of my inspiration. And the number one thing, though, I have to say is my relationship with God. I want to mention that again. My relationship with nature, with all that is. When I do my soul work, that's what inspires me because I see a growth. I see personal transformation. And my work with my accountability partner is extremely, extremely important to me. He inspires me every time we talk, and we talk every week. And as I share sometimes my growth, he'll go, wow, I can't believe you did that. You did that. I just want to pause and say, you did that. And he said, I knew that was a big goal, but he said, you inspired me because, I've seen you do big things in time I couldn't believe you could do them. And he just told me that recently. So, friends, you're all inspiring, and you're all inspiring me. And I want us to inspire each other in our spiritual community, our online community. I love that I can support you this way, but I also love when you show up on Monday night for a talk and I can see your face and I can connect with your energy. And it will help me support you even more when you become a part of this community. There's a free level where you get lots of free stuff as well. And we honor you for that. If that's what works for you now, wonderful. But my prayer for you is that you are living an inspired life, which means you're on purpose, which means you are trying new things. There's a lot of passion, and that you even have learned to take what I call calculated risks because you have the support of people around you. So if you don't have enough support of the people around you, I really want to make sure that you check out our online program with the Soulworks and become a part of the online community. We all have people in our lives. We all have, sometimes it's family, sometimes it's work colleagues that are less than inspiring. And we want to be able to handle those situations with ease, with grace, with love, with forgiveness by, taking the high road, holding the high watch for them. And we do that by being inspired ourselves, through inspired living. So this is my hope for you, that you're living a soul-centered life. And we know that a soul-centered life is truly inspired living. So my friends, I thank you. I bless you. As always, we're happy to have you along the journey with us. Again, Tempe, Arizona friends, thank you so much for listening, and welcome to our new YouTube subscribers. It means the world that you listen. We love even more to hear from you. So thanks so much for joining us today, dear friends, and blessings on the journey.
We hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Experience of the Soul podcast with Cynthia Alice Anderson, helping you grow, prosper, and evolve. This podcast is made possible because of listeners and viewers just like you. If you would like to support the podcast with your tax-deductible contribution on an ongoing basis or through a one-time gift, head on over to experienceofthesoul.com/support. The Experience of the Soul podcast is copyright 2024 Cynthia Alice Anderson, all rights reserved, and is produced by Sean Kilgore. A production of the Soulworks Group, Incorporated. Hey friends, Sean here, your Experience of the Soul producer. I want to take a moment to tell you about something truly exciting. The Soulworks online community, created by your host, Cynthia Alice Anderson, and available on the Mighty Networks app. If you're looking for a place where you can explore your spiritual path, connect with others, and grow in a meaningful way, then this is for you. Soulworks is so much more than an online community. It's a safe, inclusive space for spiritual exploration, self-discovery, and personal transformation. Inside the community, you'll find everything from uplifting spiritual studies to soul-centered growth practices, meditations, affirmations, and so much more. It's a space where you'll always be supported and never judged. The best part, membership is free. You'll have access to powerful resources, inspiring content, and a supportive group of like-minded people who are all on their own unique spiritual journeys. And if you're ready to dive deeper, there are premium options available to enhance your experience with a live Monday night talk series and extended, deeper meditations. If you're seeking a place to connect, grow, and nurture your soul, we would love to have you join us in the Soulworks community and see where this journey can take you. Visit my.soulworkscommunity.com today.